My fellow humans, welcome. We are celebrating, and this is Accelebration. Thank you for joining us. This is Humanities Team. I'm Noah. Pleased and enthused and honored to host this today. We have a wonderful discussion, a wonderful viewing experience to unfold. So before we start, I'd just like to invite us maybe to center, to quiet ourselves and just set the intention. If we can just feel into and think and consider and vision and envision a world that is perfectly abundant, where all are in communion and full communication, where all have exactly what they need, where resources are distributed as they want to be, where the tension is relieved, and we can just breathe and be and flourish in this beautiful worldly experience. So welcome all, and I am pleased and honored to start our program today. We are talking about we consciousness, which has been channeled and brought forth through my mother, Karen Noe. So Karen, I'd like to welcome to this show here, and welcome Karen.
Hello, thanks for having me on.
Thank you for being with us. And before we start, we have a wonderful program. I'd just like to invite us all joining live to type messages or comments or questions into chat. We see them and we can bring them into this program if the stars align, so to speak. And before we start with the video that will launch our program, which I will share just briefly, Karen, would you like to just maybe share with us what you think in your understanding of what's going on today and in your experience and all that you've come to know? What do you feel that the world needs to hear right now?
Oh my goodness, that's a big one. But the most important thing is that we are all one. And whatever we do to ourselves or another affects everyone. And I say that over and over, but it is true. And that's what the 33 concepts are all about. And it begins with ourselves. We need to create peace within ourselves first. If we don't have peace within ourselves, we can't extend that peace to the world. So that's what we need to know, that we all can make a difference in this world. Begins with you, begins with me. When we work on ourselves, we're improving the world as well. I think that's about it.
Beautiful. Thank you, Karen. So clearly, this sets us up perfectly for those of us familiar with the We Consciousness Concept 1, states essentially this, that we are all one, Concept 1. And what we've done at Humanities Team in collaboration with Karen and the We Guides and Wayne Dyer and all who have brought this forth is to assemble these 33 concepts into 33 video segments, which, by the way, is now available on Humanity Stream Plus for our members. You can go and watch this We Consciousness series. So just to give you a taste of this series and to set the table for our discussion, Jim will now show us Concept 1 of the We Consciousness.
Hello and welcome to the 33 concepts of the We Consciousness. Are you ready to join with me on a journey of love, peace, harmony, and unity? I'm ready. Come join me. My name is Karen Noe. Today I'm going to be talking about the first concept of the We Consciousness, which says it all. But before I begin, I just wanted to briefly review with you how the We Consciousness came about, the concepts and all of that. After Dr. Wayne Dyer left the physical plane, synchronistic events brought me and his family together. And he came through with messages for each one of them. He has 8 children and a wonderful wife. And for 2 years after he left the physical plane, he would tell me to contact them at specific times and with very pertinent messages, such as call Serena, that's one of his daughters, right now. And at that particular time, she was giving birth to her daughter. Or call Sans, which is his son, right now. And as I called him, Sans had just asked his dad if if he should be moving to Maui. He was sitting on the plane going to Maui, and the message was, yes, move to Maui. It's a good move. I'll give you one more. One of the messages was to text his daughter, his oldest daughter, Tracy, at 6 o'clock in the morning, which I was reluctant to do. But he told me to do it, and I texted her, and the message to her was that he could hear her, but she couldn't hear him. And she started crying and told me she just had a dream, and in the dream she was yelling at her dad, "Can't you hear me?" So the family knew without a doubt that Wayne was coming through with very specific messages for them. But what we're talking about through the next several weeks is not the personal messages to the Dyer family, but more universal messages for all of mankind. After Dr. Dyer died, and after he came through with the messages for his children, actually at the same time, he was giving me messages, and he was so excited to talk about the afterlife. And he was so excited to talk about the we consciousness, which is the interconnectivity of everyone and everything. And whatever one does to oneself or another, it affects the whole. And he told me he was going to be joining a group consciousness called the We Guides. And the group consciousness would be giving me 33 concepts of the we consciousness. And I asked, why 33? And he told me that 33 signified divine guidance and the spiritual uplifting of all of mankind. And he told me he was going to join forces with the We Guides, and when he joined forces with the group consciousness, it would be hard to differentiate him from the whole. They were becoming one. And who was included in the We consciousness? A group of high vibrating beings, angels, ascended masters, St. Francis of Assisi, Wayne Dyer, and so much more. It's similar to, if you follow Esther Hicks and Abraham, similar to that. But this was a group consciousness based on unity and to spread the message of peace. And for several weeks, several months, actually a year, every time I went for a walk with my dog Duke, they would channel messages to me, and I had my cell phone, and I would speak on the phone what they were giving me, and when I got home, I typed it into my computer. So you ready? Let's begin. I'm very excited. The first concept, day one, is the most important truth of all. It is basically states that we are all one. We are one. Everything we do to ourselves or another affects the whole. Our oneness includes God. God is one with us. Source, creator, God, whatever you want to call it. How wonderful is that we are one with the universe. We're one with every person on this planet. We're one with all animals, all of nature, and even all of those in the celestial realm, including ascended masters and the angels and deceased loved ones, and even those in other dimensions, other planets. And you're saying, how could that be so? You're over there and I'm over here and the cat's over there. Tree is outside. If you understand that we are all one means the energy of who we are, not the physicality of this, the vibration of who we are, you'll understand this more fully. Now, if you vibrate more on the level of who we really are, who you really are, who I really am, which is God within us, creator, universe, whatever you want to call it, I don't care. It's a high vibrating energy, only peace and love. And when you could feel and you're on par with that connection, with the high vibrating energy, you can feel your connection better with everyone and everything, because God feels her connection with everyone and everything. So we have to resonate more with the God energy, with the God of who we really are. And we're going to be talking about that in the next several weeks. But for now, just understand that we are all one. After you leave the physical body, the dying experience, whatever you want to call it, because in reality, there's no death, you'll be able to feel that connection in an instant. Now, you know, I am a psychic medium. And oftentimes when people come through, they talk about their life review. And they talk about how they're able to see how they have affected the living loved one who is sitting in my office. as if they are the living loved one. The reason is because they are one with that living loved one, and they could feel that connection because their body is not separating them from the living loved one. Now, don't wait until it's too late to feel that connection, to feel the oneness with everyone and everything. If you could feel that oneness now and vibrate more to the level of who you are, which is only love and peace, you'll be able to feel that connection. And you and I will be able to make a positive, wonderful difference in this world by just resonating and remembering who we really are. Are you with me? I sure hope so. I just wanted to end with a little quote by the Peace Pilgrim that pretty much says it all. It does not matter what name you attach to it, but your consciousness must ascend to the point through which you viewed the universe with your God-centered nature. Let me say that one more time. You must ascend to the point through which you view the universe through your God-centered nature. The feeling accompanying this experience is that of complete oneness with the universal whole. One merges into a euphoria of absolute unity with all of life. And that is the end of concept 1 of the we consciousness. And again, that concept is we are one with everyone and everything. And that oneness includes our connection with God, every person, all animals, all of nature, and those in the celestial realm, including angels, ascended masters, deceased loved ones, and even those enlightened beings on other planets. It's a lot to take in. We'll talk more about that next time when you join me here. Have a wonderful day.
Yes, we are. So thank you, Karen. It was beautiful. And let me just remind you, this is available now on Humanity Stream Plus. That was what we call the teaser edition. Now, when you watch it in Humanity Stream Plus, there's quote graphics that complement that show when you watch, so you can read the quote as Karen is sharing. You can read all these quotes that she shares. And so, Karen, if you don't mind sharing with us this whole motivation of the we consciousness, it seems like it started from concept 1. And concept 1, as you've stated, it says that we are all one, including God, angels, ascended masters, and so forth. Would you mind expanding upon this or telling us what this means?
Well, sure. The fact that we are all one, and if we resonate more on par with who we really are, which is God, which is only love and peace, high vibrating energy, we could create peace in our lives and in the world as well, which is very much needed right now. Because in reality, this is all an illusion. Everything that's going on that's of a negative nature is just that we don't remember who we are, if that makes sense. So please tap into who you really are. And you have God within you. And I can go, as I talk, a lot of this are in the different concepts. For example, concept 3, I believe, the essence of who you are is God. And if you realize that, you could create miracles in your life, right? So who wouldn't want to create miracles in our lives, right? I know I would love to create. I do create miracles in my life. And I know you can too. It's not just about what Karen Noe can do. It's about what you can do too. So remember that we're all one. We're all interconnected.
Yes, we are. And so just a reminder, like this is the text, we consciousness, and this contains all the concepts. It can and expanding upon the concepts. What we just watched is the first concept of this video series, which again is in Humanity Stream Plus, and it is available. Let's talk about it first before we talk about the offering here. So we have a couple comments in chat. Karen Reina is asking, when did Wayne pass away? And furthermore, when did Wayne pass away, and how did when you share in concept one that he was so excited to share the we consciousness, can you tell us a bit more about this? What is he the one that gave us the language for concept one? You know, is there any sort of expansion or extension that he has to share with us? And where is Wayne's excitement?
You have so many questions. So I'll begin by he passed away, but he left his physical body a few years ago. And I was devastated when that happened. I thought, the world's lost a wonderful man, but he could help us now in ways he never could before. If our deceased loved ones, the angels, ascended masters, they can all help us if we could vibrate more on par with who they are. But through several synchronistic events, as I talked about in the first concept, let me just bring in really quickly. I was at an event in Florida to talk about life after death, and we were going to do an event for Wayne Dyer, and I was on a bus going from the hotel to the conference center, and it was all the authors as well as Wayne Dyer's family. Now, there was one seat available on the bus, and next to me, and in walks Serena Dyer, one of his daughters, and she sits down next to me, and the rest is history. But right after that event, and after he started to come through for his family, and I talk about that in the book and in the concept as well. On that event, I'm sorry, this happened a few years ago, so the event's not fresh in my mind, but it should be. Wait till you hear this. So I was at this event, and I was saying to Wayne, I was saying to everyone, I am not worth it. I am not significant. I'm insignificant. And with that, I heard Wayne say, get out of your own way. Get out of your own way. And I said, Wayne, is that really you? I said, if that's you, please give me a sign to let me know it's really you. And I said, how may I serve? And he said, you're already serving. And I said, how may I serve more? In any case, I started to walk back to the hotel. And as I got back to the hotel, I felt something very itchy inside of my shirt. And I reached into, it was on the top of my shirt, and I reached in, and it was a sticker now had attached itself to my shirt. I have no idea how it got there. But on the sticker, it said W-E on it. And on the bottom of it, it said Disney. And I had not been to Disney World before that. So immediately I thought the W-E stood for Wayne. The W, the beginning letter of his name, E at the end of his name. And I was so excited, and I felt him very strongly. And he said, is that good enough? Little did I know it stood for what he was about to share with me throughout the next year, the we consciousness. And he joined forces with group guides, a whole bunch of, so in other words, he came through just for his family and his friends, singularly. Hope you could follow this. And then he came through as a group consciousness. He joined forces with ascended masters and angels. And it would be hard to differentiate him from the group consciousness because it was a very high vibrating consciousness. And they brought me the 33 concepts of the we consciousness.
Yes, they did, and thank the heavens that they did. So where is Wayne's excitement? He was so excited to share these. And so what is Wayne? What excites Wayne?
What excites Wayne? He was so excited to talk about how everything he talked about when he was here on the physical plane was true. He was talking about there's no death, and he was able to be wherever he could be. As a matter of fact, if I could find from the book itself, one of those quotes, I wasn't prepared for this, but I have whenever I get interviewed. Can I read a little bit from it?
Please.
I asked him a question. I said, what is it like in the afterlife? And this is what he said. Where I am now is not the afterlife, but the continuation of life, without the restrictions of the physical body that bound me on the earth plane. 1 minute I was confined to a physical shell. The next I was free as I stepped into this pure state of infinite love. I'd yearned to reach this level of awareness for the last several years of my earthly existence. So I was surprised and delighted to achieve this goal in an instant. As I re entered this familiar state of consciousness and arrived at my true place of origin, I was greeted by my beloved loved ones, including my mother, and yes, my father too, and glorious celestial beings eager to welcome me back home. I am elated that I can now be wherever I wish to be with a simple thought of a desired location. Anywhere, anywhere in the universe. I am still aware and interested in what transpires on Earth, but I now comprehend that it is just a tiny speck in the totality of all of creation. And he went on to say, make sure to tell everyone that the same loving consciousness that you have called God truly does exist. It is present within everything and everyone in the entire universe. This Spirit of God does not judge me or anyone else because it is all loving. On the other hand, I am now able to see how my actions, good and bad, have affected all those in my life, and I continue to grow and evolve. I am also able to see through my loved ones' eyes to understand why they behaved in certain ways too, with no judgment. I'll just give a little bit more. In this new place of reality, one always experiences pure love and contentment. I continually bask in complete unconditional love, feeling my connection to the whole, while at the same time experience the freedom of doing whatever I wish to do and being wherever I wish to be. While on Earth, I was able to connect to millions of like minds who were yearning for the truths of which I spoke. To them, I am pleased to say that the essence of the teachings I gave when I was in the physical body now has been confirmed to be true. Also, please spread this message to everyone who will listen. We are all one in love. Everything else is an illusion.
Our humanities team, our meetings, we go like this. Thank you, Wayne. And just to put context to this, thank you, Karen. Thank you. But if for those of us new or just watching for the first time on Accelebration, watch Serena. We have Serena on the show, and Steve chatted with Serena, and Serena shares the story. So watch Sage. Sage shares the story. These are Wayne's daughters who worked with Karen, and they vouch, they testify, they witness to these events. And let's just say that it's without a doubt, it's beyond doubt that Wayne has come through and confirmed things with people who know him the best. This is just confirmed, it's proven. And so what Karen reads is proven to be authentic in its source. Sorry, Karen, go ahead.
What I wanted to say is that I think what he did was for a big reason. He connected with his family and friends with things that I would never have known. You know, some things we can't even share, but the family knows without a doubt that I would not have known these things, such as when Serena was giving birth, things like that, at the moment she was giving birth. So that you know he was truly coming through. And then when he came through in the group consciousness, we would really listen to him. It was really him trying to come through with these profound messages of love and light.
Absolutely. And so when reading this, you know, you're reading a message from Wayne. You know, this is Wayne Dyer still speaking with us, which proves all these teachings, which allow us to take it for the authenticity and the level of truthfulness, the profound nature of its teaching. Even the name of the book, Karen, it's like it sounds like a Wayne Dyer book. The 33 Profound Truths of the We Consciousness. Isn't that what he wanted the title to be? Sounds like a Wayne Dyer book. Which he gave you, right? This is the name he gave you.
You know, it's something, one of the things he used to say when he was here on the planet Earth, he used to say the I am. You know, if you state I am abundant, I am love, whatever, you're affirming that oneness. you're affirming that you have whatever you desire. So it's like manifesting. You say, I am abundant, that, you become abundant. But after he came through in the weak consciousness, he said he was wrong. He asked, you should say, we are abundant because we are one. So it's not just me. By saying I am abundant, it means that you are not.
Yes, certainly can. And this is the subtle yet profound shift that the we consciousness offers us, because it seems like it's subtle to just shift all as one of the things that I take from the we consciousness is exactly what you share. Rather than, because we all do this, we internalize and say, define ourselves and define others, and this is, I am this, whether we're saying an affirmation or just what we consider to be a statement of fact, or this person is this, or that desk is that, to just include it in we. So every time we label something, to say we are beautiful, we are abundant, we. And it seems like a subtle shift, but it's the shift from this side of the fulcrum to the other. So it makes all the world of a difference. And it is that simple, just focus on we. Instead of me.
Yes. And something, just recently, I'm having a procedure done, medical, just routine medical procedure. And I'm on the phone, with the insurance, and they're saying, and what is your nationality? I wanted to say, now, why is that important? Because I want to say we're all one. It does. But I said, does that matter if I don't say what I am? Because I'm not just a female, white, whatever it is. And when you get that, I am black, I am white, I am male, I am female, I am everything, then you can't not be prejudiced against another, because they're part of you. They're part of you.
Absolutely.
They are you. Yes.
Absolutely. That's the old, and of course, the Miracles chat, which we should gotta start bringing back. But the identification card. We all carry these cards, the driver's license or whatever, and this is who I am. And it's just a list of expiring things, things that change, your image and your height and whatever ethnicity. And it has no importance because we are all of the above, like you're saying. So to be able to identify.
If I may share something, many people, when I teach these concepts, they cannot understand. They understand, they grasp the idea that we are all one, but they can't get it. They don't get it. They get it conceptually, but not experientially. So if I may bring into this, after we leave the physical body, and I think I touched upon that in concept 1 a little bit with that video, is that you leave the physical body and you're able to see and feel your oneness with everything and everyone immediately, because your body is not separating you from anyone else. See, right now it feels like my body's separating from you, from your pets, from your friends. It seems that I'm over here and you're over there. But now, in reality, we are not separate, and you will feel this oneness in an instant. And that's why I tell people, don't wait until you make your transition to understand this. Try to get this now. Maybe you'll get it conceptually, but when you raise your vibration, so it's more on par with who we really are, which is God within us. When you really get that, then you will begin to feel that oneness immediately, and you will do no harm to anyone else, including the environment. You will do no harm to any animal. And I'm talking about any animal, including that little ant that's walking on your kitchen floor. Instead of crushing it, put it outside. But that's a different concept in itself.
Concept 7, we'll get there. So we have some questions here, some beautiful questions. Now, Karen asks, in Sanskrit meditation, they tell us that to say silently, I am that. So I do daily, or I say silently, the Sanskrit name for I am that by great yogis, mystics. Now, she says, I'm puzzled, oh dear. Is this an invitation to say we are that from now on?
Well, you certainly can say we are that, but when you say I am that, you're affirming that we are that as well. I hope that makes sense. You say I am whatever you're saying. You're actually affirming I hope you understand that the totality is that too. If you can say we are, that would be beneficial too, but you're not wrong in saying that. So don't despair.
And no need to
And
despair. Thank you, Karen. And
in the Bible
sorry, what
itself,
was
it says, I am that I am, right? I am that I am, right?
Yes, it does. And it sounds like what wants to be brought forth is to get to the point where when we say I am, that what our identity, our self-concept is we. So every time that
Right.
we say I am, it is the we. So maybe the we are is maybe a bridge into this identification.
Exactly. Exactly.
So we have a couple other questions in chat. Sandy asks, are we able to communicate with a child who passed through suicide?
Absolutely. We're able to connect with all of our deceased loved ones. The most important thing you can do when you would desire to connect with your loved ones is to raise your vibration so it's more on par with theirs. Because if your child is no longer in the physical body, he or she is complete peace and love no matter how they passed. And they're probably trying to let you know that, trying to give you signs to let you know they're with you, coming to you in a dream to let you know they're there. So ask your child, to please come to me in a dream and wake me up after the dream so I remember it. And you may find, and if in all the years experience of me doing readings, are the living loved ones that come to my office. They say a friend of a friend of a friend is able to hear that from their deceased loved one, but the living loved one in my office cannot because they're the closest one to their deceased loved one. Hope you're following this. The reason is because you're grieving, and rightfully so. You're grieving. But when you grieve, your energy is a little bit lower and you're not on par with the energy of your loved one. So try to do whatever it takes. Fake it until you make it. You're not being unloyal to your loved one if you start to be happy again. As a matter of fact, your loved one is right by your side telling you that they are okay, they're around you, and they don't want you to cry. They want you to be happy again. So yes, you're able to connect with your loved one.
Great, thank you. And this points us perfectly to Barry Rose's comments, saying Karen's insight and spiritual connection to the other side, especially pets, is so healing and revealing of life beyond the veil. So I think we're lifting this veil here, Karen.
Thank you. And you know what?
So
The most important thing I could tell you is that, again, it's not what Karen Noe can do. It's what you can do. And that's my purpose here today. My purpose here on earth is to teach you what I know to be true. And it's not something I believe or something I think. It's something I know without a doubt. So when you tap into who you really are, if you tap into the God within you, which is only love and peace, you could tap into your deceased loved ones. You could tap into the angels, God, create miracles, create peace in the world, and so much more.
thank you. So we have a lot of questions here, Karen. So let's just keep them going. David says, thank you for sharing. When we transition, as Wayne did, are we becoming part of the collective consciousness while keeping our individual accumulated experience on Earth?
You said it perfectly. You become part of the whole. You feel your connection to everyone and everything, but you retain your personality. You retain your memories. You have that uniqueness of you, and you will never lose that. You will feel how you've affected people. You'll go through a life review where you'll see and feel how you've affected people in your life, everybody that you have encountered, good and bad. You will be in a state of complete love and peace. So if you're saying, "Oh no, I did this," will I be in hell? No, there is no such thing as hell. You're one with God. You'll feel that connection, but you'll have that knowingness of what you've done and say, "Oof, I should have done better." But yes, you will be uniquely you, and at the same time connected to the whole.
Beautiful. So thank you. There are a lot of questions, Karen. Let me just say, so thank you for guiding us here, and everybody's very enthused with this discussion. So
Good.
thank you. We got one that I know you like to share. Larry Brennan asks, how do you raise your vibration level?
Wow. Well, it's a lot, but the first thing I would say is to remember who you are, to remember that you have God within you. We need to forgive. We need to forgive ourselves. We need to forgive others. As Wayne would say when he was here on the physical plane, it's not the snake bite that kills us. It's the venom that's left behind, right? We could raise our vibration by trying to see through the eyes of the other person, why they do what they do. You may not understand what they're doing, but try to understand why, right? You could be more compassionate. You could try to eat in a more compassionate way. And that means not, that's a whole concept in itself, but about the animals and trying to eat more compassionately. If we could live a happy and healthy life without harming anyone, including animals, why would we? Right? Why wouldn't we? We can pray, we can meditate daily. Praying is talking to God and the angels, meditating is listening. And in any relationship, we need to listen as well as to speak. So these are just some of the ways things that we could do to raise our vibration so it's more on par with the energy of our deceased loved ones. Now, if you don't raise your energy to be more on par with the energy of your loved ones, can you still connect with your loved ones? Sure, you can, but it won't be as easy. You can ask them to give you a sign to let you know they're with you. And there's many types of signs they can give you. You could ask them to come to you in a dream and to wake you up so that you remember the dream. And I could just go on, and I don't want to take too much time up, but those are some of the ways, things that we could do to raise our vibration. Hope that helps.
It does, Karen. Thank you. And just one more. You've said a lot about this, but just to honor Johan's comment here, says, my daughter died in 2007, the day she was due. I haven't felt her in a few years. Can you comment? Much love to you.
Absolutely. When somebody first passes, when somebody makes the transition, they leave the physical body, they're very anxious to let us know they're with us. You'll feel the signs more often. I know when my mom passed right after that, I felt the signs more often. I dreamt of her and so forth. And it's not as often now as it was in the beginning. But they're still able to connect with us. They are still around us. Sometimes they may have reincarnated into another body, and maybe that's why they're not coming through to us. But you can still ask them to give you a sign. This is what I ask my loved ones, and I tell my clients and friends to ask their deceased loved ones, give me a without a doubt sign to let me know that you're with me. And then be patient and wait. And the sign will come when you least expect it, but it will be something that normally wouldn't happen. Such as a bird will land on you, or, a car will cut you off and the license plate will be your loved one's name, and so forth.
Yes, thank you. Thank you, Karen. So let's just pivot back over to we consciousness now here, if you don't mind.
Sure.
And of course, what's written and what is shared is that the most important truth is that we are all one. Now, clearly, this is humanity's team here. We're all about oneness and sharing this concept of oneness, which actually led Steve and you together to start working together, which then in turn led me to humanity's team. This concept, and particularly the writing of this concept on this page. And then, but before we talk about this, what this means, how we can understand that we are all one, I think it's valuable to talk about concept 2, which states that your becoming an instrument of peace is vital to the survival of the planet. And it seems to me that this is the motivation. We are all one. The most important truth is that we are all one. But almost it could be, so what? What value is that for me to hold this as true? Concept 2 says why it's true, because our understanding of this, which is our becoming an instrument of peace, is vital to the survival of the planet. Of course, it's vital to our own inner peace, our own becoming peace, but also the survival of the planet. So, Karen, if you don't mind, maybe before we take a bit deeper dive into concept one, please share with us your take, your understanding of why it's important for us to hold concept one in the first place.
When you understand that we are all one, that we're all interconnected, and we understand that our actions will affect everyone. It will not just affect me and my family or the people I talk to each day. It affects everyone. When each of us raises our vibration, we raise the vibration of the entire planet. And if the scales tip in a more positive direction of more people remembering who we are, there will never be war again. Because right now, the mass consciousness is a little bit like this, right? So it's not, most people don't remember who they are. The only way to create peace on earth is to remember who we are, to raise the vibration. It's not by creating war. It's not by yelling and not trying to understand. It's by understanding the other person. You may not agree with what the other person is doing, but if you see through the other person's eyes, if you become one with them, why are they doing what they're doing? Now we could create peace in our lives and in the world as well.
Beautiful. So now, okay, we have a motivation. Okay, it's to my benefit. It's to my immediate benefit and the benefit of all around me to understand and feel into this first concept, which, by the way, I'm sure you would probably agree that it's not just you get it conceptually once. It's an unfolding. It's a continued unfolding of playing out.
Absolutely.
So please, there are all these aspects of the oneness, which you list so beautifully. Our oneness encompasses everyone and everything, including God. So let's start with God, if you don't mind. We can maybe go down the list if you would like.
So, yeah, basically that God is within us. God, we're pieces. Wayne Dyer shared this when he was on the physical plane. He said, if you took a coffee can and you went to the ocean and you scooped up the water, right? You would not get the whole ocean in the coffee can, but you'd get some of the ocean in the coffee can. We're not all God. We're a spark of God. We have God within us. And so when we understand that, we understand what I've had a hard time learning my whole life. I always was saying, I'm not significant. I'm insignificant. I'm not good enough, blah, 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 blah. Well, I got yelled at by Wayne. And he said, get out of your own way. When you understand who you really are, every one of you. Wow. And again, that's, I think, concept 3 or 4, that it just keeps going on and on. You could create amazing miracles in your life and in the world around you. And the only difference between a miracle worker and one who's not is that the miracle worker knows it. That's it.
Such a simple yet powerful process here. And so the angels, we are one with the angels. How does this work?
So the angels, we all have guardian angels who guide us through, from the moment we're born all the way through our life, and even after we leave the physical plane, and even before we come to planet Earth, we have guardian angels. And then there are archangels who can be with more than one person at a time. It's like Archangel Michael, Gabriel, Raphael, Uriel. And you're not taking them away from somebody who needs them more, because they could be with everyone. But if you understand that they are part of us, they're not separate from us. Again, it gives us more power. It gives us more understanding that we are one with the angels. We are love. We are light. We are peace.
Yes, we are. And just to expand upon this concept of angels, so angels is, if we look at the source text of angels in the Hebrew text, for instance, where angels are presented as a concept, it means a messenger. It's the same word as messenger, so it's always a messenger of God. And this is all that I think it is. So would you mind, before we move on, Karen, telling us a bit about what angels are? What are these messengers, and how can we use them or consult them? How can they be beneficial to us in our experience?
It's a wonderful question. All you have to do is ask your angels, who again are really you, but difficult to understand, I know, but say, ask your archangel to let you know his or her name. And then ask them to give you a sign to let you know the name, and you'll get a sign. I assure you. I would love to hear from you, by the way, what your guardian angel's name is. But they are here to guide us, to protect us. They're not going to do something against our will. If we would like to hear from them, we can ask them. The archangels are messengers of God. There's different archangels. There are many archangels. There's Archangel Michael, for example. Archangel takes away negativity, and he's the peacemaker, and he's the archangel of police officers, and so forth. So if you have something negative going on in your life, you could ask Archangel Michael to help you and to take away all negativity and entities around you, and he'll do that for you. Then there's Archangel Gabriel. Archangel Gabriel is the messenger of communication. Archangel Gabriel helps me when I write. I ask Archangel Gabriel, help me. What do I need to say? And the words just come. Archangel Gabriel also helps us to speak our peace, and so forth. Archangel Uriel is the messenger of peace. So if you need peace in your life, peace in the world, ask Archangel Uriel to help out. Archangel Uriel was very apparent during 9/11. I felt Archangel Uriel very much during that time, and so forth. And I could go on and on. Archangel Raphael is the healing angel. If you need help in healing your mind, body, spirit, call upon Archangel Raphael, and so forth.
Beautiful, thank you. So just a note, Karen, there's all sorts of comments. Barry says, beautiful and true. Victoria says, namaste. Joan says, love her, love Karen. So thank you. Yes, good. So ascended masters, our oneness encompasses ascended masters. What does this mean?
This means Jesus, Buddha, Muhammad, Mother Mary, everyone, they are part of who we are. If we understand that, we are all one. I know it seems some people will say, oh, we can't say that. We can't say we're one with God, we're one with Jesus, but we are. We are. And for those who follow the Christian faith, Jesus himself said, this and more you can do if only you believed. He never said he was the only one that could create the miracles. Who, he said, if you had faith the size of a mustard seed, you'd say to that mountain, move, and that mountain would move. So these all ascended masters are part of who we are. Call upon them. They can be with you, and ask them to guide you and protect you. And just with that simple request, they are there with you. They are one with you. It's very exciting. And you are worthy. We are all worthy. Because we all have God within us. Think of it that way.
Of course. Yes, and Christ left us with, at the end of Matthew, the parting words, I'm with you always. It seems like it's pretty straightforward.
Exactly.
So enlightened beings from other areas in the universe, our oneness encompasses these too.
Yes, and it's becoming more apparent now. People are finally acknowledging we're not the only life in the whole galaxy. It would be foolish to say that we are the only life in the galaxy, maybe life as we know it. But as I continue to grow and evolve, I've actually encountered and felt some of these beings, and I've encountered the loving, positive beings from other dimensions, from other planets, who are actually here on Earth trying to uplift our planet. They are here to help us. They are here to help us so we don't create war, to prevent this. And they're here to help us to raise our vibration. You understand that Earth is just, as Wayne said, just a tiny speck in the totality of all there is. And to think otherwise would be foolish. Isn't that so? And there's good and bad to everything and everyone. But in reality, let me take that back. We all have God within us, so we are all good. But I guess when we go with the ego and we go with what are so-called not good things, we don't remember who we really are. And then we can't connect with these beings from other dimensions, these angels, and with God, and we feel disconnected. But again, remember, you are one with the whole, with all of them.
Yes, it is. And this just takes us, Karen, before we get to a question from chat. David was asking about this whole separation and oneness, which you bring in. I think it can also be articulated as the good and bad, you know, but the true good, the capital G good, and our A Course in Miracles talk sometimes say, the capital G good is that which includes the good and bad. It's the totality of all of it. That's the full good, which the bad, in a sense, is just believing that there's something other than oneness, that there's something else besides all of what is the oneness.
Correct. And it's just that you don't remember that you're one with all of it. If you start doing the B, you said the bad, it's only an illusion, because that's not who you really are. You're resonating with your ego, and your ego is an illusion. We are one with everyone and everything. And it's, of course, in Miracles, I mean, says it all. And you could probably say it better than me. You do these every week, these classes. Do you want to add something there?
Oh, join us on Sundays then. We'll have to get back on it. We've been on a bit of a break, but we'll get back on it. Yeah, no, thank you, Karen. And Joan asks from chat, what can we do to feel more worthy? And she goes on to say, I can so relate to you, Karen, on this topic.
I think a lot of people can relate to me on that topic, that we feel we're insignificant. The best way, what I have been doing, and it's work. It actually is work. There's different healing modalities, and one is called tapping, the emotional freedom technique. And when I was actually in Florida, ready to do an event with Hay House, with my publisher, on life after death, that was the same event that they had the Wayne Dyer tribute. And I felt very insignificant. I had to tap. And what tapping is basically is we have energy points on our body that correspond to acupuncture points. And if you feel the emotion, the negative emotion of insignificance, for example, you bring it up and then you tap on the acupuncture points as you're experiencing the insignificance or any negative emotion, you move that energy out. It took me a while, but I just kept saying, I am significant. I am significant. You fake it until you make it. And it really did work. And I do all these, I continue to do this. I oftentimes fall back and I feel, I'm so insignificant. And then I remember, I just remind myself, remember who you are, remember who you are. And a great thing to do is this is a great way of praying to God. Instead of begging God to help you to remember that you're significant, just say to God, thank you. Thank you for helping me to remember who I am. Now, you see the difference? It's the faith of knowing that your prayer is answered. And that goes for any type of prayer. Thank you for healing me. Thank you for creating peace in my life. But thank you for helping me to remember that I am significant, and then know it and assume the feeling of significance. It takes work. Takes work.
Good. Yeah, well, work well paid off. And if we are talking A Course in Miracles now, there's all sorts of wonderful quotes for all sorts of topics. But on this one, I what always resounds so true with me is saying that to accept your littleness is arrogant, because it's believing that your value of yourself is truer than God's value of you. So it's almost like flipping it, seeing littleness as arrogance, because who are we to belittle ourselves in such a way? You know, the magnificence of who we are.
That is wonderful. That says it all.
Yes, you do. So we're on to deceased loved ones, and I'm sure you could say a bit about this, how we were one with our
Yeah,
deceased.
I see we only have 5 minutes, so I'll do that very quickly. But our deceased loved ones, after they leave the physical plane, they are still one with us. We could feel them, they could feel us, and we could still connect with them. They are not the body, the physical body dies, but the essence of who we are does not. And we could continue to connect with them. They say, how do you know that for sure? Well, I've been doing this for many, many years. And the messages that come through are without a doubt that it's coming through the deceased loved ones. There's no way I would know these certain things, such as finding missing money and so forth. Also from those who have had near-death experiences, those who have been declared physically dead, and they come back to life to talk about what they experienced. And they all talk about their oneness with everyone and everything and their life review and the peace and all of that. I could go on, but I know the
Oh, I
time.
know you. And we
Yeah.
have 3 minutes. So. Yes. So,
Yeah.
and then animals and nature. So I know these are two different ones, but maybe you can talk about them as the same, or talk about these two last aspects.
So what I would say about this is very near and dear to me. I did have a spiritual experience many years ago. I saw the light, and I talk about this in We Consciousness. I talk about this in all of my books, Your Life After Their Death. And by the way, Your Life After Their Death will help you to, with a loved one's passing, help you to raise your vibration and connect with them. But after I had a spiritual experience with a light, I saw a light that came towards me from the other side of the room. And as it was coming towards me, I said, if you're not of God, please leave. Now, many years later, I know everything is of God, but I didn't realize that now. But as I was saying that, the light enveloped me and it said, Luce Lucina, Bella Luce Lucina, which in Italian means light, beautiful little light. And I've since learned it was St. Francis of Assisi, who's been helping me receive messages from deceased loved ones and so forth. In any case, it's a long story. I know we have a few minutes, but right after that experience, I started to feel my oneness with everyone and everything, not conceptually, but experientially. And that included all animals, and that included all of nature. And at that point, I couldn't eat meat anymore. I just couldn't do it. I couldn't ingest the pain of the animals. Now, I know a lot of people don't resonate with that, and that's okay. If something I say doesn't resonate with you, go within yourself what resonates with you. But I do know you don't have to be a total vegan. But if you can eat one meal a day that's plant-based instead of with an animal, or maybe one a week, you'll save one animal's life every time you do that. And you'll be benefiting the whole. You'll be saving that one particular animal from suffering and pain. And a wonderful organization called Edgar's Mission in Australia said, if we can live happy and healthy lives without harming anyone, why wouldn't we? So it includes animals and it includes all of nature. We don't have to cut down the trees for Christmas. Leave them in the ground if you can.
Yes, thank you. And Joan asks, Karen, can you stay and talk for 10 hours? OMG, fascinating. So I'll say, well, not for today, Joan. We have an hour and we're wrapping up. So thank you. And before we close, I know we talked about this, and we've gotten a whole slew of questions. So thank you, everybody, for putting in. We didn't quite get to everyone, so sorry if we did not get to your question. But before we leave, I would like to share. We'll go a couple minutes over, and this is okay. Jim is about to put on screen our Humanity Stream Plus platform, which is the impetus for this program and for the We Consciousness program in general. We showed the first concept of this program, and we can show you how to get there if you go to the search or the browse, and you can search for We Consciousness and pull it up, and you could begin watching. So this is available for all of our stream members. We are adding content here monthly, if not weekly. And again, you can come to humanitystream.tv, and you can scroll down, see the selection, and you can search and pull up the Weak Consciousness series to watch at your leisure. Again, there are 33 concepts, and it is available brand new right now to watch. And there it is. Hooray! So when we click on that, we navigate over to the Weak Consciousness series. So thank you, Jim, for sharing. And again, feel free to check out humanitystream.tv. This is our platform for sharing and producing and expanding a conscious planet, a conscious world, a conscious experience, a thriving, flourishing world. Humanities Team, as a nonprofit, dedicates work to developing these transformational education programs. So when you sign up for Humanity Stream Plus, it's contributing to this cause, just as you would sign up for any other stream provider. The difference with Humanity Stream Plus is that it's contributing to this movement of global awakening and flourishing. So thank you for joining us. Karen, let's bring you on real quick to say farewell. I'll probably speak with you on the phone shortly, but thank you for joining us, and thank you for sharing all of your wisdom and insights and compassion and empathy in this time together.
Thank you for having me on.
Thank you, and thank you, Jim, for running this whole show behind the scenes. Thank you, Garth, and all the team, Nanette and Karen, for being behind the scenes and making this work. Thank you, Dee, for making this work. Steve will be joining us next week on our next week's call, so thank you, Steve. Thank you all of Humanities Team. Thank you for all of you. All of you are Humanities Team, so thank you for being with us. And as we close, I invite us all to just take these teachings, learnings into the day, or rather let the day take us into them. So thank you for joining us, and we will see you next time on Accelebration. Love and God bless.